Now, as we all know, Nintendo is coming out with the NES Mini, or NES Classic Edition, or Mini Edition, or whatever you want to call it. The preloaded NES, HDMI NES. We all know what it is. Um, but someone, and so with that being announced, a lot of people are coming out with these. They're called Raspberry Pi, and Pi as in PI. So,
Like
uh,
0.14,
yeah, yeah. But Raspberry. Anyway, they're just little, um, you know, chips that you can get systems on a chip. I think they're called, and you can run Android, a version of Android on them, and customize it to what you want it to do. And a lot of people get these really inexpensive boards and find out ways to put them into 3D printed cases and make cool stuff. So the latest that we've heard about is someone built a mini Super Nintendo, and they have it. Number one, it is really tiny. Oh my goodness, this thing is so small. I've got a picture of it up here. It's smaller than a Wiimote. It's like,
You're supposed to play on it?
well, yeah, because it has USB ports, two USB ports for controllers.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, I think they fit an HDMI on there somehow. But it's really really small. They actually didn't fashion it after the Super Nintendo. They fashioned it after the Super Famicom, which was the Japanese version of the Super Nintendo. And it's really cute. It's adorable. But he didn't actually 3D print it. He actually, I want to say the article said something like he made it out of some kind of like arts and craft material. Um, but it's loaded with a whole bunch of Super Nintendo games. Um,
Yeah, it
he's
looks
got
like he made it out of some kind of like clay.
Yeah,
The
and then
outside and
he
painted it,
painted
yeah.
it. Yeah, the video it's on IGN if you wanted to watch it, but the video just goes through um,
Yeah,
the
that's
whole
cool.
process of how he made it. And a lot of people are doing this, and it's well beyond my technical expertise to do anything like this. I'd have to like study and find out. I have a solder gun, but I've never done any soldering with it. Soldering is scary because you can really mess up what you're working with. So, but it's really, oh yeah, he made it. He made the shell out of clay.
Yep.
Actually, it's like modeling clay that he made it out of. He hand painted it, and looks really good. And here's the thing about I'm really happy that they're making the Classic Edition NES. I'm looking forward to it. However, I've been looking forward to someone coming out with a box or console that you can play most retro video game systems. Like if you could just go up right before the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation era, like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and everything back from that, I'd be super happy. And there are some consoles out there that do that. There's the Retron 5, which plays like Super Nintendo, Nintendo, Famicom, Game Boy games, Sega Genesis games. But you have to have the cartridge. You can't just load the ROM on there. So if you want to pay for all the cartridges, which are all getting really expensive, that's not really a good idea. Now, they also came out with something called I want to say, it's like a new version of the NES that they're using these chips that are, um, they're like programmable array chips, something like that. You basically can make a chip emulate hardware, if that makes any sense. You could take a chip and customize it to being like an old computer, even though it's capable of much more. So in a way, it's like that. they've taken this technology and it's gotten cheaper, and you can now they've made like an NES that takes cartridges, which is kind of neat because there's something they make a NES flash drives now, where you can take an SD card, stick it in what looks like an NES cartridge, and basically load every single NES game onto it and play it on your Nintendo. I don't want an original Nintendo because those aren't high def, and you have to play it on an old TV for it to look its best. I also wouldn't want this new system that came out because, number one, it's $185 for a Nintendo, and the cart is also, pretty expensive. The multi-carts are like $70, $80, somewhere around there. And I want a machine that does everything, and the Retron 5 doesn't read those flash carts. So what are you going to do? Like, no one has made the thing that I want. I want it to be a system player, and I want to be able to just load the games on there.
You should start a petition and send it to Nintendo if you get enough pictures.
No, they wouldn't do it. I honestly think the NES Classic Edition is as close as we're going to get to anything official from them. And then Sega has done something similar with the Genesis, but they let another company make it. But if the NES Classic Edition is successful, I'm pretty sure we're going to see Nintendo made Classic Edition Super Nintendos, and who knows, Sega may actually make their own version of a plug and play, Genesis with preloaded games.
Which I feel like it's pretty safe to say that the Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition will be pretty successful.
Yeah. I pretty sure as soon as that goes on pre-order, it's going to sell more than the iPhone. People who don't play video games are interested in it.
Yeah, like me.
You play games.
Yeah. But yeah. Do you know when it goes on pre-order? Because
I have been keeping an eye on it. It has not gone on pre-order yet.
You're gonna pre-order it too?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna be waiting for that.
I'm going to try to wait to unbox it here because it comes out on a Friday.
Oh yeah.
We'll unbox it here. I won't be able to give my impressions of it, obviously, but we'll have to have a full review of it at a later time. But yeah, November 11th that comes out. But stuff like this is neat to see in the meantime. People doing their own little projects with stuff, but it still needs to play everything.
Is it too much to ask for?
Apparently it is.
Yeah.